Hello everybody, Steffi here from The Makers, and welcome to you all joining me today to make the Toadstool House habitable. So we're obviously going to put a window in because they've got to get some daylight in. We put a chimney on, you need a fire, and we're going to put a front door in so people can get in, and we're going to decorate it to make it look pretty. All of that is happening today. If you've missed part one, then don't fear, that it stays on our YouTube channel, so do just look for it on our YouTube channel for the Toadstool House part 1, and you're here today to watch Toadstool House part 2. I've got all autumnal in my background here. Oops, little witch flying through the air. It's sort of like getting Halloweeny. Got my ghosts out. That is a live stream from last year, so you can watch that. I think there might be a spider as part of that too. We have got a tutorial for our big witch, which is probably about the size of Mrs. Tomte and Mr. Tomte. And we've also got a tutorial of how to make a broom from a branch and horsetail grass. So if you are broomless, don't worry, you can make your own. That's all already available on our YouTube channel. And whilst we're talking about it, I just want to say a massive big thank you to everybody who's subscribed to our channel. We are so close to 4,000 subscriptions, so please tell your friends, tell everybody, and give us a thumbs up on all of our videos, whether you watch them live or whether you watch them because they're there to watch. Anyway, let's see who's in the house today live, talking about that. So we have got here Alicia. Thank you, Alicia, for supporting me today again. Carol is there, Pamela, Ashley, Bridget, within just the first 4 people from different corners of the world. So UK, Ireland, Australia, US. I love it. Melanie is there, Karen, O van der Meer, Diane. I think there are Diane. There's often Dianes and Dianas, but there's only one Diane at the moment. Jackie is there. Hi Jackie, it's nice to see you here. You obviously snatched the Wi-Fi for yourself today. That's great, and I hope you're feeling better. Erica is there. Oh, and there we go. Netherlands gone straight into there as well, together with Olga. Vampire Venom. Julie is there. Oh, she's managed it today. Excellent. Pleased to have you here. And then we've got Ava. Ah, there's Norway. Excellent. I think we should have a challenge of how many countries we can count in one of the live streams. That would be amazing. Oh, we've got Scotland. Yay! We're coming to you, Donna. We're coming to you. Hang tight. It's not going to be this week, but it will be next week. I'm going to bring my 2 girls with me, my 2 oldest daughters. So come and see us. Can't wait to see you. Rose is going to be there. Oh, well, there is the question of all questions. Our subscription boxes, I will just do a very slight diversion. Our subscription boxes have to be bought with, you can use a credit card, but you can't use PayPal. That's just how the system is set up. It's not us. I mean, we are not clever enough to design and write our own computer program to have these subscription apps on our website. That's all done by somebody else, and these apps do not allow you to use PayPal. However, you can use, I'm absolutely certain you can use a credit card, so you can get it just needs to be a card where monthly payments get set up from. So that's hopefully helped you, Erica. And Marion is there. Diana is there from the north of Scotland too. Excellent. Hi, Laura. Laura is there too. Hope you're well and feeling better. So, right, let's get on with what we've got here at task. We're making a toadstool house. This is how far we got last time. And I'm going to, first of all, tell you what you can win today if you're watching live, and it's the 5th of October at 1 p.m. or thereabouts. in 2021. And today you can win yourself a poppy flowers kit. I can't show you one in real life, but it makes these 5 beautiful poppy flowers with our no-sew brooch pins included, so that you can wear them with pride in the next few weeks or whenever you want to, or maybe you can make a wreath with it as well. It's using the technique of water-soluble paper. It's one of our lovely kits, and what we want you to tell us is, hope you're going to be in Cloud Cuckoo Land with me today, because that's where you need to be. Tell us, if you could go to a fantasy land, where and what would it be? And that was sort of, and that question was inspired. I don't know if any of you know The Faraway Tree by Enid Blyton, but it was one of my favorite stories to read to my children. And think in those terms if you know the stories, and if not, I'm sure you come up with equally amazing, fun locations and reasons why you would want to be there. So if you could go to a fantasy land, where and what would it be? For those who've never entered our competitions, they take place live on Tuesdays here on YouTube, and then repeat again on Thursday, because the live stream repeats on Thursday on Facebook at 7 p.m. And on each of those, we pick a winner at random, and Alicia does that actually. So it's a bit like You'll Do, that kind of thing. So it's a random generator, and that's how you get chosen. So I've got the instructions still only here digitally in front of me, and what we're going to do today is we're going to make the dormer window. And so I'm going to go onto the overhead camera now. I don't know, I've picked up all kinds of other rubbish in this wool here today. I'm picking that out. So you've got your red wool here, and you take enough of the remaining red wool so you can roll it up into a shape. So that's basically the dormer windows. They can be smaller or larger, also depends how big your roof of your toadstool house is. And I'm just putting these in on top of each other, and it needs to measure about 10 by 6 centimeters. Now I've got my mat here, so I'm just going to measure that quickly. 10 by 6. It's a little bit long and a little bit wide. So if you tease fibers off, put them in the middle, and so you're going to roll this up so that it becomes about 3 centimeters thick. So that's basically what it needs to be. So roughly about that size. Take your felting needle and close the shape up so that it doesn't pop open and you can let go of it and stab into it. I've actually got my felting mat the wrong way around here today. So this is if you're using our earth-friendly felting mat, I've got the soft mat underneath and the firm mat on top, which is fine. You can use it that way around. In fact, I've been needle felting a whole picture. I'm not telling you what, but you might have a guess, with it being the other way around, and it worked absolutely fine. So then you have to bend this into a shape so that it's an arch. So you basically bend it this way, and I think this window might be quite small. And with your coarse felting needle, felt the shape firmer. So whilst you're bending it, just felt into it. Just don't bend it. Just don't felt into your fingers. So you can already felt it into that shape. Could even go a bit firmer right into the sides, and it will definitely make that shape. So try to keep it in an arch, and once you've done that, there you go. It should sort of fit into your hand, and the depth should be about 3 centimeters. So the depth means this from the front of the window to the back of the window should be 3 centimeters, and it's perfect. It looks as if I've done this before, once or twice. There we go. I keep saying I've needle felted for over 15 years. I'm pretty certain I started needle felting when my son was about 2.5, and he's turning 20 this year. So that must be then nearly 17 years or even over. Right, so now you've got to position your window onto your toadstool house, and I'm just going to lay that flat so you can see this. So I've pushed this up at the back. I could also push it down if that looks confusing, and then you're going to felt into the window by attaching it around the edges first. That's always a good plan. Get it fastened on so you don't have to hold it anymore. And these wispy ends that I've left unfelted, you can use to attach into the roof. Now you just have to keep thinking that it is a window, so it needs to come out at an angle, and then it needs to have a hollow here. And if you keep visualizing this, then I'm sure you won't won't stab it flat, because that is the danger, that you're actually stabbing it so that it becomes it's just no longer a window, a dormer window that sticks out, and that's basically what you've got to remember doing. And stab it first, and then you need more red wool, because we're gonna make sure that we keep that space here inside as a window space. You've got to stuff that with more red wool, which I've got to just grab because it's somewhere else right now. Just bear with me. Okay, got it back. Got a little bit of red wool. I'm going to stuff inside here, and I'm going to felt that down as the back of that window. Stuff it in there. I'm actually not using a coarse needle right now, which you should be using a coarse needle, and so should I. So I'm going to change to a coarse needle because I'm stabbing way too much. Let's get a coarse needle going there. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, definitely make that window happen by stabbing into it, straight into it, so that it looks out rather than up or down. So straight out rather than up and down. And fasten that on a little bit more. So ideally what I want to do is to get the shape going properly. So just keep stabbing into it so that it makes sort of like a shape of its own. You can felt it smaller by stabbing into it, but make sure you don't flatten it. Make it part of the roof. It needs to be a distinct, separate shape. Imagine a dormer window in your house. It is literally a separate shape, and that's what this needs to be. And when you've got the red wool stuffed in there and it's all looking like it's nicely shaped, then you're going to use some black wool, and you're going to fill that window with black. Contrary to what a lot of people think, they often think that windows are actually white, but they're not. If you look at a house that's out and about, the window is not white. It is actually black. So if you haven't got black, then use a dark color. But ideally you use black to fill in that window in the background, which I'm going to do now. There. So filling that in with black. And that is, of course, if the light isn't on. If you've got a light on, then the window may appear more yellow or white. But if you make, this is sort of a bit of extra information. If you make a landscape picture and it's daylight, and you've got a house with white windows, it just doesn't look right, because there's no reason why you should see the light inside the house if it's daylight, and it just looks weird. So it's best to make the windows look dark, and that looks more realistic. There we go. Right, filled it in with black, and I'm going to now make a frame around it. Now for this, I can't wait to open my enchanted forest wool mix, because the only colors that it hasn't got in there, I mean, you could have used the brown in there, but I'm going to open it up and I'm going to show it to you here, because from now on I'm using wool from the enchanted forest wool mix. Now, if you are wondering what these bags are, if you haven't seen them before, yes, they're very shiny, and they are entirely disposable in your home compost. So you can, it's a plastic free bag, not a single tiny little bit of plastic in there, completely plastic free. and you can put them into your home compost. And look at all this wool that's in there. You do have to take the labels off, so you might have to cut around them because they're hard to peel off. But other than that, you can put it in your compost, so you might just have to cut a hole in there and put that in the bin. Right, look at these colors. So you've got your fairy mix in there, you've got your dragon mix, you've got your golden orange, your variegated deep red, you've got curls for decorations, you've got your variegated green, you've got your green rainbow drops, you've got, this is lanolin rich core wool, if you want to make a small toadstool house. This one here is, I want to say it's milk sheep. Then you've got our country sheep bats, and you've got here, last but not least, our Russian caracal merino, Russian caracal no merino in there. And so all I need now is a little bit of the white. So I'm putting this to one side, and I pull a bit of white out of it. If you want it to be a purer white, then I can highly recommend our Australian merino. Whether it is the Australian bleach, that's really, really white, or whether it is the natural white, which we use for our mice, our needle-felted mice. And before I continue talking about white wool, I'm just going to show you how to, ow, that was my finger. So don't stab your finger, to add a frame into the window now by stabbing white wool around the arch in the background there. Stab it in. So the other white wools that we love is our Shetland, which we use as a core wool because it needle felts down really, really firm. The only thing about it, which one of the reasons why it does needle felt down so firmly, is because it's got coarse and fine fibers, and the coarse fibers can sometimes be annoying because they stick out at the end. So you might have to, if you're doing something really small and delicate, you might have to trim them down or pull them out. The Gotland white is a great one. It's not as white as the Shetland, but it's definitely not as creamy as the lanolin either. So that's a really good one. It's got consistent length fibers. Love that one too. I absolutely love our New Zealand natural white. That's basically exactly how, say, the red is and the black that I've used, because it is the undyed natural New Zealand merino. Love that for using as a natural white wool. And we have several others, which is our standard core wool and our luxury core wool. Now both of those I could recommend for stuffing too. They're both really good for that. They're nice and lofty and bouncy. So there you go. Right, that's the outer window frame done. And now I've got to do the window frame inside. So you can just leave it like this, but if you want it to have sort of a cottagey style look, then take some of the white, tease the fiber apart, and then make it into a strand, and then go across, or go across, or up and down first, whichever way, it doesn't really matter. Get that felted on, and then do the same in the other direction. So you're putting a cross in there, and I'm fastening the fibers on as I'm going along. So in a consistent line, just stab into it and allow the needle to tuck the fibers in, and you don't really have to do much other than stab. It's a bit missing at the bottom. That's it. Toadstool house, dormer window, tick, done. There we go. Wonder who's peeping out of there. Right, I'm going to go onto the big camera now to, you can see there's just about, you can see that white line. I'm just going to make that a bit more distinct. I can see it better in real life than in the screen, so I'm just going to make that a little bit more visible to everybody. There you go. So that's the dormer window done. Let's have a look at it as you can see it here. Yeah, it's definitely light coming into our toadstool house now. So the next thing we're going to do after that is we're going to make a chimney. And for the chimney, I'm going to use what I've got in my Enchanted Wool Mix pack. But first of all, I'm going to have a quick look where people might be country or which land they're going to be in and why. I would like to go over the rainbow to the land where health and happiness are in abundance for everyone. Oh, that's nice, Marion. Middle Earth, I was thought you were going to say Middle East, awkward from Middle Earth, to visit the hobbits and have second breakfast every day. Well, you're allowed to have a second breakfast every day, wherever you are. I'm not so sure you find hobbits where you are. Oh, Meg can't go to Glasgow either, so that means somebody else can't go to Glasgow. I shouldn't really read these messages from the bottom up. Who can't go to Glasgow then? Hopefully it's not Donna. Oh no, she can't come to Glasgow. Donna, why ever not? Oh, Melanie says she loved the faraway tree. I'd love to go. One I'd love to go to is on Dragon Edge World. Dragon's Adventure, attractive yet awkward companions. Nice. I love scuba diving, so I'd go to an underwater mermaid city. Oh, nice. Meg says easy. This world, so I could meet all of Terry Pratchett's wonderful characters. Discworld. Oh, I really hate it when I'm not very familiar with life generally out there. I'm okay in the fairy world, but I'd love to meet the witches and the pixies, says Vampire Venom. Definitely, oh yes, that's right. Oh, definitely over the Rainbow Bridge to see all my beloved past pets. Oh, yeah. I today I thought about a past pet, my beautiful Bengal cut Tumbleweed. Oh, he was so sad. A memory came up on my Facebook, and he went missing for 3 weeks, and then when he came back, he just wasn't the same, and he just wasted away. And we had him checked out. There was nothing physically wrong with him, but I think he had been like really traumatized, and then in the end there was absolutely no quality of life, and we had to say goodbye to him. So yeah, I would love to see him too. What about silver for the windows? Well, if this was like a reflection, that, yeah, you could try that. Dark silver maybe. My housemate and I do have a homebrew world for Dungeons and Dragons. Not sure how to explain it, as they are completely made up. Places based on old, no longer in existence empires, all sorts. Have a homebrew world. Well, I have to come and visit you, Vampire Venom. Greetings from rainy Massachusetts. Oh, somebody else from the United States. My fantasy land would be in a forest, says Donna, near the sea with lots of lovely wildlife to admire: deer, owls, badgers and squirrels, with a daily walk to the sea to see the otters. Nice. Do you carry very white locks? So we have got some Teeswater curls, and they're the whitest probably that we have got. So yes, you could. I think if ever anybody needs a sample send of anything, just let us know. I don't want to say it too loud because we might get hundreds of people asking. But yes, we are very, very happy. We've got a new service in place called Find a Fiber, and if you ever want to match it up to anything, then just get in touch. It is actually Find a Fiber at themakers.co.uk, and we do our very best to match up your fibers. And then if you wish, we can stick a sample in the post. Jackie says, my fantasy land would be a place where all inhabitants live in harmony, where we can swim with sea life, to fly with the birds and float on clouds, climb and trees, mountain, climb on clouds, climb and trees, mountains with animals. Nice. Bridget says I would go to an ancient forest where the trees move and talk to all the animals. Don't they do that? They do in my forest. Tinman, Lion, Dorothy and Toto. Oh, hang on a second. That's a different person. Where the ocean animals live in clear, sparkling water. Sorry, Susan, I hijacked your comment and built it into Bridget's. I would go to the magical land of Oz to see my dear friends Scarecrow, Tinman, Lion, Dorothy and Toto. Sorry, what am I like? Vampire venom. I do dream of a world where all health care, no dentists and opticians, and education, including uni, is free. And people are treated with the respect they deserve. No victim blaming, no slave wages, poverty. Yes, not in this world, I'm guessing, but we can make up these worlds. Diana says she can't go to Glasgow either. What the heck? Where are you all, guys? Coming up there, especially see you, and you won't be there. This world is very funny and full of fantasy parody of real life. Ah, thank you for that, awkward prawn. And Olga says, so sad about your Bengal cat. My Bengal cat got run over last. Oh no! Don't say that. Only had her for 3 months. Don't dare to let the others outside without supervision. Oh, that's so sad. I'm so sorry about that, Olga. Ugh, hate it so much. Ah, okay. Let's have a look what's coming up, because Alicia mentioned the curly hedgehog kit or workshop pack that we have got. So let's have a look. The next live streams next week, the curly hedgehog is coming up. It is such a popular make. It's caught us a little bit by surprise. We're taking it to the workshops, and we've just released the workshops for Harrogate at the Knitting and Stitching Show, and it's sold out already, and it's only been up there for 1 week. But we do run other workshops there as well at the end of November, so don't despair, there will be others to choose from. And then on October the 19th and the 26th, we've got Mr. and Mrs. Tomte, a two-parter, so 2 Tuesdays. We'll make one of them, but there I show you how to make the other one as well at the same time, a little bit like with the Witch and Wizard. And then on this November the 2nd, it's the seal coming up. Right, so let's get on with our Toadstool House. Let's go straight to back to our creation here, and we're making a chimney. So I'm actually using this slightly, it's less gray, but it's more like a brown, a gray brown. And I'm taking if you work with the exact measures of the Toadstool instructions on what you need for the actual chimney, you would need about, let's have a look, about 3 grams of grey Gotland island. But if you haven't got that and you want to use the enchanted forest, then use what you've got there. Weigh out 3 grams by all means, and you don't have to put anything to one side. If you're using less or more, your chimney will just be bigger or smaller. So as we're not making anything that needs to be in proportion, it doesn't really matter. So first of all, you fold one side in by about 2 centimeters. So let's start at the beginning. So you have a square of about 10 by 10 centimeters. Sorry, I should have got there first. It's about like, this is not rocket science. This is just a little bit of fun, and it's not that exact. So about 2 centimeters. Fold one side in about 1 centimeters, and then you're going to roll this whole shape in. This is the folded side, the 2 centimeters going that way, and you roll this in. And the reason why you're doing this is because you're going to get a really neat edge here at the top that you could even felt a little dent into it. So once you've got it rolled up, then you're going to stab it shut. So tuck the fibers in, stab it shut, but don't stab into the very end of this sausage shape, if you like, because these are the fibers that we're going to spread out, and we're going to open up to attach to our Toadstool house. There. So I'm stabbing, and because you've got a neat edge here, and it's sort of like slightly swirly, you can actually just make that into more of an indentation, so it looks like it's actually hollow. Stab all around the edges as well. So make that more of a hollow. If you felt like this, watch your hand. So you can see there's a hole in there now, and then you're going to open up the wispy fibers, there, like that. And you're going to find a nice position for your chimney to go on, and you're going to felt that into your toadstool roof. Go around the edges first, really around the edges of the base of the chimney, basically. The reason being that if you felt these wispy ends down, they're just going to spread out and they look sort of like quite untidy. Now we do want them to spread out, but we want there to be a nice neat line. So when edge your way around the edges, but make sure that when you get to the wispy ends, that you tuck the wisps in and stab at a slight angle towards the chimney, and that will take care of that. So it looks like it's got a seal around the base of the chimney to stop the rainwater from going into the roof and making sure the chimney is nice and solid on there. If you want to make the chimney shorter, then you can sort of squish it down a bit and then stab along it into the roof. You have to do this all around, otherwise you have a wonky chimney. Unless you want a wonky chimney, that's fine. And that's basically the chimney done. If you want there to be smoke coming out of the chimney, which is as if you light a fire inside your toadstool house, then just use a little bit of either the white wool, the one that you've got already, the lanolin rich, which is here in the enchanted enchanted forest pack, or you can use a little bit of our Cape Merino, which is really, really nice. And it kind of stays in one place already because it's a very short fiber. And all you need to do is sit it inside that hollow that you've made and just stab it in, and the smoke should just sort of come out straight. Unless you've got a wind blowing, then you need to have it at an angle, obviously. Right, so that's the chimney covered, and now we get to putting the door in and the decorations onto the front of the house, and then we make the pebbles for the courtyard or the front step and the little garden in front of the toadstool house. There we go. So got your chimney, got the smoke coming out, got the windows, got our dormer window here on top, and now we're going to the next step, which according to the instructions is going to be the door. Now for the door, you need a brown wool. So you could use the lighter brown that's in the enchanted forest mix, which is the Russian caracal. I think in the instructions that I have used, I've probably used hair brown, which is a similar color. It's just a slightly different textured wool. And all you need to do now is you take a wisp of this and you place it in where you want the door to be, there. And then with your felting needle, with your coarse felting needle, you're making an arched shape like a horseshoe, and that will determine the outline of your door. And then you make one across the base, and that's going to be obviously the foot of the door, like the bottom part of the door. So you've established the shape, and all you need to do now is tidy it up. So fold these wispy fibers inward, stab them down. If you've got any weak spots in that there might be a bare patch in your door, then just add a little bit more wool. That way you get a nice neat line, stab it all in, and you've got a door in your toadstool house in no time. There. So now we need to make sure that you have a doorstep in front of here, so that it's done properly. And for this, you can use the same wool that you've used for the chimney, and felt a little ledge onto the base. So obviously that needs to be at similar to the dormer window, that needs to be at a right angle. So don't felt it flat, get it on first. Then sit your toadstool house properly on the floor, and then felt into it from the top, so that it looks like a stone step leading up to the door from your front garden. So you need that to be yeah, like that basically. So it's a step up from the garden, and then there's another step up to your door. Hope that makes sense, or you couldn't see that at all then. But you can see that that looks like a step in front of the house now. It's a bit wonky. It's an old stone. It's an old flagstone. There you go. And then the next thing you're going to do is, and I should have done that before according to my instructions, but I obviously didn't, is to put sort of like wooden planks. So you make grooves into the door, and you could use the dark brown that is in your enchanted wool mix. And for that, you just literally put a few lines along the door, felt those in. And in the instruction, it tells you to do that before you do the doorstep. But as all of you know, there are many ways of doing the same thing in a different order. That's the lovely thing about needle felting. It is so free and gives you so much choice. You can follow the instructions if you want to, but if you go a little bit off the tangent, then it's okay. Don't need to fret. And I'm putting 3 in here. 3 lines, so that looks like this. The door has been made from maybe oak planks, and they are joined together like that. It's not a prison. There we go. And then you have to put a door frame around it as well, because that makes sense to have it all sitting in a door frame, and that's very similar to what you did with a window frame. So you're going to stop a strand of wool going from one side, whether it's the left or the right, across the top, really close to the door, because you don't want there to be a gap. It's like a good fitting door. It's been a good little gnome joiner who's built that one. And down to the other side. Tuck all the fibers in, make them disappear, and you've got your door already, and the frame to go with it. There you go. You can even put one across the base, because there should be a frame at the bottom as well. So put a strand of that wool along the bottom. So you're literally just painting it. It's almost like you're using a pen and you're painting the different features onto your toadstool house, but instead of a pen, you're using your felting needle and some wool. And that has made the actual door. And then you can put a window in there, and again you use the white wool to make the frame. That could be a round window, could be a square window, or it could be whatever size you want. So just make I'm going to keep it round on here. It's the easiest shape, so you can't really go wrong with that. So you need a nice neat line of the slightly cream wool that I'm using here, but if you've got white, that's fine. And if you have a felting needle tool like this one here, and you've got 2 needles in there, that really makes it a really nice sort of neat line, because they're all ready side by side. So use that if you've got it. Otherwise you just have to work a little bit harder if you're using a single tool. Just going all over because I'm making the door out of shape now. Add a little bit more white here into that circle. And then of course you have to fill in that window like you did with the dormer window. So you can fill that in with a little bit of black. And you could even put like the cross stripes for a window frame inside as well. Just have to work quite delicately with small amounts of wool. Shape it already, make it sort of the length that you want it to be, or thereabouts. Felt that down, one that way, and then one across. It will all, in the big picture, it will all look like it's meant to be. This is you can be very precise if you want. If you like things to be really precise, then you can make this look absolutely amazingly perfect. but to me this is perfect too. Right, there you go, little window in there, and then of course we need a doorknob, because otherwise you can't open the door. And for that you just use, I don't actually know where that is in the instructions. You can use a little bit of the dark brown, or I'm just going to use, you could have a red doorknob if you wanted to. I'm just going to use a little bit of black and felt that here onto the side for the door to be able to be opened. And that has taken care of the window and the door and front step. That's what we've achieved so far. We've also got a chimney now, and we've got smoke coming out. So it's habitable, I would say. It's definitely habitable. As you're working on one part, you might just have to adjust other parts, but that's sort of basically where we've got to now. We've got a door, we've got a window in the door, we've got a window, a dormer window, got our chimney, and we've got smoke coming out. If you're excited about the Mr. and Mrs. Tomte, I just show them to you again. They are quite big and lovely. Got her foot caught there, and there is her husband, Mr. Tomte. I have also now made a small tutorial of how to make these singing acorns. Oh, it's my son on his quad again. Can you hear it? And that is available now on YouTube as a 15-minute tutorial. So not much chat going on. It's not a live stream. You can just literally visit it. And then we've got a tutorial for these autumn leaves on there too, from last year already. We have got the pumpkins are on there, if you can't remember that. We have got the witch. She's a live stream as well, and she's still available to purchase as a pack. We ran out of stock temporarily, but I believe that they're back in stock now, so you can probably hop onto the website and get them again now. And so anything else I need to, probably there's other stuff I need to talk about. It comes to me as I'm going along. Right, let's continue on the Toadstool House. Oh no, let's have another look where people are heading off to. Oh, Julie is coming to Glasgow. Vampire Venom, she's giving us a full rundown of all these fantasy figures. I really have to look some of these up, because I'm making up all kinds of images in my mind, and yeah, not probably the right ones at all. Good idea, Rose. She made her base out of the structural core. This is the base for the Toadstool House, to make it sturdier. Really good idea, and it's hollow straight away. So that's a really good idea. I love that structural core felt. You can use it at the moment in our subscription box for the baby gorilla, because you make the tree trunks out of it. It's really nice. Carol says, my fantasy world would have flying unicorns, rainbows, pots of gold, talking animals. It would be peaceful and relaxing. Oh, nice. Talking animals. That doesn't sound very peaceful. They probably chatter away all the time. Julie says, my fantasy land would be full of fluff, where our makes come to life in front of us, not while we're sleeping and everyone is happy and smiley. Oh, that's nice. I think some of my makes, if they came alive, I'd be quite scared. I've got a kilo of core wool plus some orange and curls on the way. For more pumpkins, also ordered some wreath frames on the way. Oh, nice. That's amazing. I can't wait to see your pumpkins come to life. Right, let's continue with the decoration of our Toadstool House. So I'm going to go to the overhead camera again, and we're going to have to put a little bit of grass down now here in our front garden. And for this, the variegated green is absolutely perfect. It's a really natural green wool, and you literally just paint that on. And when I say paint it on, what I often do is I literally sort of lay it out so that it's not too thick. Lay it out like this, and then to save a little bit of time, I'm going to use my 3 needle felting tool. Aha, so this doesn't like that side of the mat, so I'm going to have to turn this around now. Oh, some extra wool stuck on there. So yeah, that's better. So I'm now stabbing the green wool into the front garden for grass. Stab, stab, stab. Stab it down. You can use a single needle for this. I am literally just using my 3 needle felting tool, the clover one. A, I love it, and B, it does speed things up a little bit. You can also use your blue 3 needle felting tool, works just as well. Yeah, it's got slightly coarser needles in. Oh god, I've got to sneeze now. Excuse me. No idea where that came from. It's probably the grass. I'm allergic to hay and flower and pollen and grass pollen. So there, hay fever, just by making a front garden for my toadstool house. Felt this down. Yeah. And all the way to the front step. A nice lawn. If you want to use some of the wool from your enchanted forest mix, I can highly recommend the rainbow drops. It's got these colorful little cotton neps in there, and they really sort of almost add flowers into your garden already, so you can use those. Let's put a bit of that in there as well. These little neps, they sort of come to the surface as you're felting it down. It's the same as with vegetable matter. Usually the vegetable matter comes up rather than gets felted in. So you see a little red flower there, a little orange one, blue, red. Yeah. So you can obviously, you could do the whole thing, but as we're adding pebbles onto it, that's probably not. Remember to lift off your work of the felting mat there. And so that's the grass now. So now, from now on, we're going to make miniature pebbles. Now, we've already got a pebble tutorial on our YouTube channel. But what I would suggest is use the colors you've got, which is I've got the dark brown, I've got my grey brown, I've got this Caracol Merino here. If you've got any other colors, use them. I've got that color here as well. And if you've got black, add the black into it as well if you want. Now, all of you know that we can mix colors and make a completely new colorway. For the pebbles, we almost don't need to mix any of these colors, but you could make black, you could turn black and white into gray. So, and to mix the wool, you hold the 2 fibers on top of each other, and then you start teasing them apart and putting them on top of each other again. It will make a much sort of more steely grey if you have a brighter white, but it will make a grey nevertheless. It's happening literally in front of your eyes. I love that process. So you can mix all kinds of colors. Not that we need to do this for this project, but you could mix red and blue and make purple. You can make orange from yellow and red. You can make yellow from green from yellow and yellow and blue. Oh, try and remember it all. And just like paint if you mix it. And there you go. That's a pretty good grey color made from these quite distinct looking different colors. Now, to make pebbles, all you need to do is little round balls of little round pebble colored balls. So I'm going to use this potion that I've just made, roll it into a neat little ball. You've got to mind your fingers when you do this, because obviously you're working in quite a miniature scale. So get it closed up first and then just give it a few stabs to secure. Now, it doesn't really need to be the perfect pebble before you add it to your garden, because as you're stabbing it on, you can also manipulate the shape, and we also want to make sure that the pebbles are nice and close together. So I'm not even going to do too much. If you've got a variegation in your pebble, then that's perfect, because the pebbles often aren't just a single color. And now you've got to decide where you're going to start adding the pebbles into your garden. I would say start from the front step, but because it's quite dark there, I don't know if you can see it. So I'm going to start here at the end of the garden. And all you're doing is you're just literally stabbing around the pebble. You can see that is making the shape smaller. as well as fastening it on, and then you can stab straight into it if you want to flatten it down a little bit as well. But it looks really nice in that variegated color that I've mixed. So it's up to you. You can mix the colors or you can keep them as they are. If you mix them, the variegation will add almost more authentic stripes into the pebbles, and you're just gonna have to make lots of them. I think there's about 30 in the front garden of the Toadstool house that I made, so it is quite a labor of love, and might take you a little while. Get them stabbed down small enough that they can fit onto the garden. Oh, I'm running off the picture there, sorry, off the screen. Felt them down and establish the shape a little bit more as you are stabbing them on. And notice I'm stabbing around the very edge to keep the 3Dness going. So I don't want them to be too flat. They need to be a little bit flat because you need to be able to walk on it, but they don't need to be really flat. They have to have that pebble kind of shape still there. And that's pebble number 2. And then just mix the different colored pebbles to make more of that footpath in your front garden. And like I say, I'm not going to do 30 pebbles because I'll still be there in an hour's time. I will just felt them down roughly, add a streak of a different color through it. It does make it look more authentic, and then fit it onto your path, felt around it, and that way, if you don't felt the pebbles completely solid, they sort of almost fit around each other as if they've been carefully chosen to fit in the gap that is there. So you can imagine like a very happy gnome picking all the different shaped pebbles to make sure it fits into the gap that is actually there, and making it look nice and neat. So that's my 3rd pebble on there now. Let's just make a 4th. Let's mixing the white into it is a good idea because you often get these mineral deposits in pebbles, so that makes it look definitely authentic. Make sure you have the white on the outside as you're felting it. That way you don't have to add white to it later. It's a faster way. It's a more efficient way of just getting your pebbles done quickly, because this is about building up speed to get pebbles down. You can even add a white one into the path, and you work your way all the way up to the front doorstep. You could put bigger ones on the outside, like a boundary, like a little border, and felt it down. And if you make a white one, then maybe add another color through it just for fun. This is going to be fun. You can make up your own pebble designs. They're all yours, however you want to make them. And just I mean, it is actually doing the pebbles, the real size pebbles, to make a pebble rug is actually extremely addictive, and I love our pebble rug. It's one of my favorite projects. It's so satisfying to look at. This is literally a big pebble rug with proper big pebbles, like you would find. I mean, you find pebbles like this as well. I'm talking about big pebbles. Pebbles come in all sizes. There you go. I have made 5 pebbles, and that will do for the pebbles. I think you've got the gist, and they look really natural if you add a little bit of a different color into it. So I've just to remind you, I've used the Russian caracal, I've used the country sheep. I think it's the country sheep, yeah. It might be the South German, but either way, either are fine. And then I've had the milk sheep, and then I've just had a little bit of the lanolin rich core in there as well. And with one of them, admittedly, I had a bit of black in there as well. So the black doesn't come in the Enchanted Forest mix, but if you have a bit, you can use that to make grey. And you could even add a little bit of green into the pebbles as well if you wanted to sort of maybe look like they've got a bit of moss on them or something like that. Green slime. I'll just show you this here again. So my pebbles are now in the front garden, and they're making their way up to the front door, and you can felt them down a little bit more if you want to. But I want to get on with making the beautiful flower decoration around the house, which is so much fun. So how's everybody doing? Let's have a look at the comments. Have you all given us the thumbs up for this particular video or live stream, whether you're watching it live or not, whichever way? And oh yes, great project for stash busting baby pebbles. Oh, I like it. Yeah, you'll be taking a long time making lots of them. You could make mini coasters. I think that's such a nice idea, like a tea coaster. That what a great gift idea would that be for Christmas or a birthday. Design your own pebble tea coaster, or maybe you know, make the small pebbles and then do it like what are they called? I want to say a hot plate, but it's not a hot plate because it's meant to keep your, what is it called? It's like it's to stop your pan burning the table or your worktop. One of those. They're not called hot plates, but I can't think what they're called. It's like a coaster for a pot, a hot pot, or for a teapot. That's it. Right. Let's launch straight into the making of the arch around the door here, and for that I just genuinely, I love these two types of curls. Couldn't be more suitable. So you're going to use the brown curls for the gnarly wood, and you're going to use the green curls for the sort of vegetation around it, and make sure that there's actually stuff growing on it. And with curls, I will say it again, but I've said it loads of times before, don't cut your don't pull your curls, cut them with scissors, which I'm just getting now there. So if you need to tease the curls apart to get one nice strand, if you pull them, you're just going to pull the curls apart, when actually what you want to do is you want to have a nice neat strand of the curls. So just cut them. Don't be afraid to cut curls. And if you have to do it again, do it again. And all you're going to do now is you're going to felt on an arch onto the on the outer of the door frame, and allow the curls to add that gnarly wood look to it. You might have to do this with a couple of strands. So these are our blue face Leicester brown curls. And you can see how important it is that you have that texture in the curls, because otherwise it just looks like any other brown wool that you felted on. So allow the curls to be part of that nice texture. Use another strand here. And let them sort of like stick out a bit as well, so it's like the shoots going out as well. And there's some more. Love. Aren't she clever? What did somebody say to me the other day at a show? It was so funny. They said, "Oh, did you make these curls?" And I said, "No, the sheep made these curls." And he just looked at me like I'd completely gone bonkers. I think he imagined that the sheep was curling their own wool somehow. I said, "No, the sheep made these curls." It was so funny. It just caught me out, because he just didn't know what I meant. And then I think it dawned on him that it wasn't literally. He went from, "Did you make the curls?" as in me. I was curling the sheep wool, to, "No, the sheep made the curls. The curls were curling the sheep wool." Not even thinking for 1 minute that they grew them like that. It did make me laugh a bit. I love laughing at other people, mostly because they like laughing at me. Get my own back at some point. Right, so nearly there with those brown curls, and then we're going to add a bit of green into it, so that we know that this is a live plant. You can turn it that way around as well. So they're growing up, obviously, so we need those twirly whirly bits to go up, not just down. Felt it on. And then just add the odd sort of green into it as a sign of life. There is life in those in this rose bush maybe. And allow the texture to come free. If this happens, if you can't fasten the curl on, then sometimes you have to tease them out a little bit. So tease them out because they've become so close together that they're almost like a solid piece of fabric, and the needle can't capture the wispy fibers. So you might have to just tease them out a little bit to get the needle to catch the wispy wool fibers. We've had questions like that asked before. Why don't the curls attach? And that is usually why. Just make sure that you actually felt into the wispy wool bits. Like this one here is such a tight curl that you might have to just tease it out sideways a bit, so that you loosen up the fibers and the needle can catch it. Then might be a bit fiddly. Come on. They're quite stubborn. They've almost stuck together. There. Another trick to that is using a multi-tool, so you've got more chance of the needle catching the fibers. So you could use your 3 needle felting tool. Just get the last ones on there now, and then make sure you go all the way down to the bottom, because that's that is where they grow from. So they don't just hang in the air, they're actually coming from the base going up. And then the only other thing is, and this is definitely one of my favorite things to finish off this front decoration around the door, is you're going to use your fairy mix. And I just, God, I love it so much. So this is the fairy mix. Unfortunately, we're out of stock at the moment, so don't go run off and buy any, but we will be back in stock. And we have a new feature on our website now. On the right hand side there's an orange bar, and that you can click on that and you get notified when wool is back in stock. Now you take a tiny wisp of this wool, tiny, and what I do is I sort of pick the colors out of it, because it has these multicolors in it, so you can make a nice multicolored arrangement there. Obviously, if you just want them to be all the same color, you can do that too. But just take like the really sort of colors that you want there to be. Ooh, bright pink. Let's have that. And let's have a bit more blue. And let's have a bit more orange. Sorry, I'm only laying them out here so that you can see the different colors. And all you're going to do now is you roughly scrunch them up. And then you're laying them wherever you want the flower to be onto your arch, and just felt them in nice and tight into a nice little tight flower bud, head, whatever you call it. And then we keep repeating that. So you want them to be nice and bundled up, but it's really lovely to see these different colors sort of emerge next to each other. It's so much fun doing this. I love it. I think I might be doing a rainbow here, not intentionally, it just happens automatically. Use the blue. And obviously mix them up, not like just like me having them all in a nice colorway. You can mix them up and there will just be sort of a splash of color popping out at you, like it's a multicolored rose bush or whatever flower you think it is. And then you just repeat this with picking the colors that you want, just a little wisp. Doesn't have to be anything too big, because you're felting it down as well. Maybe a bit of a green mix there. I don't know if it will stand out against the green other wool. There's a bit more. I seem to be going for the pinks, but there's another bit of orange. And a bit more orange. Right, let's do a few more. Twizzle it, add it, make sure that it looks as if it's coming from the branch rather than hanging in the air. Felt it down. Oh, so nice. Look at that. And you have instant flowers, and you don't have to add any detail at all. Just literally stab it on, job done. We have used this technique on our fluted and blossom wreath for adding flowers into the foreground, where we use the same green curls and the fairy mix as well. So that is something you can transfer into a landscape picture. You can decorate a wreath that way. It's just an instant. You could make the whole garden with these beautiful flowers. And that's basically finishing the arch off. And the only thing that we haven't done yet, as you probably have spotted, we haven't got any spots. Haha, as you have probably spotted, we haven't got any spots. There you go. That's the arch done. I'll try and hold it as close as I can so you can see it from there. And then there's the pebbles right here at the front, which they need to work their way up. You could make a beautiful flower border if you wanted to, add the green curls, and then add the these little colored spots into it. And yeah, getting there. At some point you might, because I've made this quite flat, you might have to just reshape your toadstool house a little bit more, because it's been manhandled quite a lot. So give it a few more stabs, make sure it's standing properly so that it doesn't fall over. All of that you might have to do at the very end when you're done, and felt it down a bit more if it's still quite soft. And that's basically all there is to decorating the front of the house and the house itself. And just quickly show you how to do the spots. And whilst I'm doing that, Alicia can pick a winner. Today on the 5th of October, live on YouTube, as well as on the 7th of October, live on Facebook at 7 p.m. And to add the spots, I'm actually just laying a little bit of the Cape Merino, the white Cape Merino out, and I'm allowing the needle to tuck the fibers in. Now you can make perfectly round spots, or you can make flecks. You can even make sort of longer shapes. Toadstools have got all kinds of different colorings. That the spots can sometimes be absolutely tiny and then they join together, or they can be however you want them to be, very stylized, like really round spots as well. And I have gone through the woods today, and there are loads and loads of mushrooms. Oh my goodness, I've never seen so many different types of fungi. But I haven't seen any toadstools yet. And last year I was absolutely taken by surprise when I saw all these toadstools, and it's literally, sorry, I just have to have a drink. That was good timing, because I could listen to Alicia telling me that the winner is Diane Baker. Oh dear, something went down the wrong way. Diane, you've won. Diane B. Even mentioned your surname. I hope that's okay. Okay, right. Spots here, and what I was saying was that I found amazing toadstools. I have no idea if I'm going to recover now. I sound a bit like there could be another coughing fit coming. Sorry about that, guys. But it's just as well we're at the end. Spots are being added, garden done, winner drawn. Of course, on Thursday it'll be a different winner, which I can't predict now. I wish I could, but I can't. And remember, the next live streams coming up next week, the Curly Hedgehog on the 12th. And then we have Mr. and Mrs. Tomte on October the 19th and 26th. For those, and the seal on the 2nd of November. For all of those, we have got workshop packs ready for you. So the Curly Hedgehog you can buy. Mr. and Mrs. Tomte, we have got a pack that we've been selling for quite some time, and they are definitely, it's going to be a very popular live stream. And then the seal is our kit. It's one of our small kits, so you get everything in there to make the seal, including the tools, and that also is the same with the Curly Hedgehog. For the Mr. and Mrs. Tomte, it's a pack, so you have to use your own tools. I think I'm okay now again. So I can continue adding these spots. But what I was really trying to say was that I went into the woods last year, and these toadstools just popped up overnight, and they were just this almost unreal color of red in the wood where you thought, oh, somebody dropped a piece of plastic. But no, these are the colors of the toadstools, literally like this. And after a day, the next day I went in there after 24 hours, they had already half been eaten. I've been reliably informed that squirrels eat them. So if you see a squirrel flying through the air looking completely out of this world, then you know why. And of course other creatures of the forest eat them, no doubt. They're not recommended for you to eat, however, because they are poisonous. Okay, just get this, just in case somebody gets the wrong message here, that they are meant to be eaten. And the squirrels have taken a tiny little nibble out of them. So that's all I've got to say to you today and to show you today. Toadstool House needs more pebbles in the garden, but I'm sure yours will be absolutely beautiful. Remember to share them with everyone a maker on our Facebook. On Facebook, it's a group, separate group that you can join. Our Facebook handle is @themakers.co.uk. So if you're going to tag us and you start squiggly bit and start typing the makers, it might not come up instantly. But if you keep typing the makers, 2ss.co.uk, there's only one of us that comes up, and you can always recognize us by this very bright rainbow logo that we have got. And then on Instagram and Twitter, we're just @themakers. So whatever's preferred social media platform, come and give us a like, come and see what we're up to, and of course subscribe to our channel if you haven't done it yet, and then you get notifications of our videos and live streams coming up. And thank you so much everybody for watching today, and yet again being by our side. We can't wait to see some of you face to face later, maybe next week. Maybe you're coming down to Alipali, where I'm heading to tomorrow morning, to the knitting and stitching show. Maybe I will see you in Glasgow for the creative craft show. Maybe you will be coming to the NEC in November the 4th to the 7th to the creative craft show, where I will also be running workshops. And maybe you will be coming to Country Living in London from the 10th to the 14th of November. Are we in November now? No, this is October. No, this is November. This is November, 10th to the 14th of November. And then we'll be at the Knitting and Stitching show in Harrogate, 18th to 21st of November, going all the way back down to Somerset to the Royal Bath and West Showground for Craft for Crafters on the 25th to the 27th of November. This is all 2021, just in case you're watching this sometime in the future. To our final show, back up to Glasgow. Donna, Diana, and whoever else can't make it this time, we will be back in Glasgow on the 2nd to the 5th of December, and that's for the Country Living show there too. And I will be running workshops on all of these shows, so you can book onto them as soon as they release them. That's all from me today. I promise now, that's it, and I see you very soon. Take care everybody, stay safe, lots of love.